So we're here in the executive lounge and we're just walking to where our meeting room is, where we have the DashboardHub team. Been working hard yesterday and today, and you can see the logo on the back of my cap.
So here we are at the wonderful Corinthia Hotel. It's day 2 in terms of our prepping for WebSummit. And WebSummit is a big day for Eddie Abu-Jwadeh, where he launches his tech startup called DashboardHub. So I'm here with my other non-blonde Angel, who's supporting Eddie on his journey. We're having a whale of a time. There's lots of laughter, there's bubbly, but actually there's a lot of seriousness underneath this, being that we're prepping and really wanting to iron out any kinks as he gets ready for tomorrow. So let's turn our attention to the one and only Eddie Abu-Jwadeh.
Thank you, Bybreen. What an introduction! I don't know how I can follow after that introduction. I think the introduction says it all. But just following on from the non-blonde Eddie's Angels, I'd just like to say, the support that you both have given me has been amazing, and it really made me think about how to articulate better the product. And hopefully, one of my big passions for DashboardHub is not just about the platform; it's about open source, and it's also about the team and the community.
I've got a question for you, because in terms of how we met, and I've given you a new moniker. I call him the Open Source King, because he is the Open Source King. And what I want to know is, why is open source so important to you?
Being transparent about everything. So at DashboardHub, we're completely transparent with our retrospectives. So when we have our respective meetings, they're all on the wiki and GitHub. Currently, at the moment, being moved to a repository because it's easier to find, easier to contribute to if it's not in the wiki, it's actually in the code base. And then you can deploy it out to a website or deploy it to create a PDF from it. You could do all sorts of things from it. So that's a bit more flexible. And then taking from that, I've got on the website, we've got the team of people on for DashboardHub, and I want to do is also add their rates and their salaries.
So you were talking about transparency, and it reminds me of a conversation we had, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. You probably don't remember. We were talking about salaries, and you said, "Why do we not discuss salaries?" And I didn't have an answer for you, and I was like, "Well, why don't we discuss salaries?" And you simply said, "If we start discussing salaries openly and honestly, we can combat so many problems that everyone has across all the industries with salary." I was like, oh, I hate to agree with him, but he is right. I hate agreeing with you, Eddie, but you were right. So when you just said that, I was like, if you start talking about transparency, it's like, you're right. About everything, we need to be more transparent.
Absolutely. I think going to the Gender Pay Gap Hackathon a few months ago, that really kind of solidified that idea in my mind that is actually important. And I've asked part of the team, actually I'm asking both of you now, let me know what rate you would like me to put, or what rate you work for, and I would like to share that, so therefore other people who look at the team and go, I look like that person, or whatever their reasoning, can go, but I'm only getting half that.
Eddie and I met when I was speaking at a Women Who Code event. Anyway, finished speaking, stepped off the stage, and then this smiling face came towards me, and he was all like sunshine and smiles, and my name's Eddie, and then I knew about his wife Sarah, and but what was so striking was, and it's the thread that I've seen through you, is a deep commitment to equality. So here we have a man, clearly, he's Eddie. He's a great supporter of women in technology, and I have to say, as I'm emerging in technology, it's actually 2 men who've been, definitively supportive. That's you and a great friend of mine, Csenge and Andrew. But what I wanted to ask you is, why is equality, why is inclusion, why is diversity? We're talking about the pay gap, so that's one way of seeing it. We're talking about in terms of women, gender, that's another way of seeing it. And we're talking about in terms of race and culture. All of these things seem to be so important to you. Why is that?
I'm glad you asked that question, actually, because I've been thinking about that quite a bit recently. Because for me it's important because it's not important. So I don't know if I want to explain that very well. So for me, I'm so passionate, like we said, about open source, about tech, and I love, even in the lift today, I've met 3 different people who are talking about tech. And for me, how they look like, how they sound, their background, education, ethnicity, religion, it's not important. I want to talk about tech, I want to push tech forward, I want to improve tech. The only way we're going to do that is by having a diverse and inclusive community. So for me, it shouldn't be important, but at the moment, I hope one day it isn't important, that it doesn't matter what your background, it doesn't matter where you're from, what you do. So until we're there, it is important to have that and to make everyone feel welcome. And I think it really upsets me that people don't feel welcome. The great thing about the community is we pick each other up and we help each other. So I said to you earlier this year, get into open source, get contributing on GitHub, and in return, you have done the same about get on YouTube. So we're on YouTube here now, but if it wasn't for Bybreen, I wouldn't be doing this. And the more I do it, the more I want to do it. And it's a bit like contributing on open source, right? The more you do it, the more you want to do it. So what I love about the community is we all help each other, right? We all have our different experiences, our different backgrounds, our different passions. And it's great because then other people can make you more well-rounded. So now I am doing the YouTube side. So to do the YouTube side, as I think it was Gary Vee said, you're not just a YouTuber, you're having to think about how to record, so the camera, lighting, audio, editing. So you're learning so many more skills in addition to being in front of the camera. And I was thinking, I have so much more respect. I'm doing it myself. I have so much more respect for people who do it because it's really hard. It's actually really, really hard.